Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. It's time for Heroes Jubilee, once a month ranking event where if you have a whole ton of units to choose from, you can get pretty good scores, and if you don't, well then, sorry. It's tailored, the boss battles at least are tailored for the current Festive Memories team. The normal battles, normal battle 1 is fire, 2 is earth, 3 is water. All three of these elements are very, very weak right now, unfortunately, so your options are fairly limited. But this entire week and half of next week I'm in the office, or just away from the house in general, so I don't have a lot of patience, time, or energy to do like 5 teams for one stage, so sorry about that. Please put up with it. Please, disclaimers, video's a guide. Try and make teams, understand what you're trying to do here, and then you got to do what you got to do with whatever you have available. I really don't have time to answer questions. I'm like, can I do this and this and this? Like, please just test it yourself. Disclaimer number 2, these are the units I use for protection gauge. These are the ones I use for skill points. And disclaimer number 3, don't forget to go into your town and optimize your fire buildings so your fire nuker can do as much damage as possible. But let's take a look at normal battle 1. So this fight starts with a special convert for blue orbs, and it's fighting 3 different mushrooms in one wave apiece. So wave 1 will be 1 mushroom, wave 2 will be 1 mushroom, and wave 3 will be a mushroom. And you have to get, for max turn bonus, to kill them all within 3 turns and do 1.4 million damage of overkill, or at least total damage elemental-wise, against these mushrooms, which very burst team needy. Fire has some solid options, but today we're going to be using this team. So we've got Exalted Champion Velzard, the new Isis, Vengeance Raphael, the new Diablo, OGRE'S Pride Shuna, and then the old Masked Hero. So Raphael is here for the defense, because we have to take like 1 damage apiece across the board to get the max score. Shuna is going to be our single target nuking character. We're going to get the rewind from the old hero, Velzard's element buff, and then Diablo and Isis have hurt their own buffs. But the most important thing about this is that if you have the new Masked Hero, the Divine General one, she's actually better, because she has the Alt Rush, which is good for burst teams where you need to kill in 3 turns. But I'm using the old hero intentionally to show you that you can still make it work, and like she's still pretty good. So let's figure out where I need to be first. Alright, so turn 1, we don't have anyone convert the blues, but we've got, 4 blues will give us a protector for Velzard next turn. So we'll bring in the hero, we'll bring in Shuna, we'll use the seal ability with Raphael, so it gives us elemental resistance, and it makes it so he can't naturally crit or pierce us, or raise his attack, which he does try to do that. So we take 1 damage. Excellent. Alright. 55 points, we have 3 orbs for Shuna, we're going to use the rewind, and then we're going to bring Diablo in for the hero, and use his green buff, 0 cost, and then we'll use Velzard, who now, we have the extra protection gauge from the rewind, we have the 50% all gauge increase from Diablo, we have 3 Shuna orbs, we need to kill the mushroom on this turn, and then we also need to kill the second mushroom on the rewind turn, because that's going to put us up at turn 3 with the final mushroom coming in. Otherwise, you're going to be hard-pressed to kill the second mushroom on turn 2, and it's probably going to make you go into like turn 4 or 5, which you can do, it's just you're going to lose max points. So if you don't have a way to get that done, then you can just push a couple turns and you'll probably be fine. So here, we don't need the EX ult, because we're so powerful. Shuna's that good with her buff, so we used her personal buff, which is the weakness strike and the magic buff, and then we sent her away, so she could hold on to that. And here, we're just getting points. We have 150, which means that next turn we will have 190. No, actually we use a synergy buff, sorry. We held a buff of some sort. The synergy buff enables us to kill the mushroom on turn 2.5. So now on turn 3, we have the synergy buff active. We'll do the alt resistance down from Isis, also magic down, and then we'll bring Shuna in, and we have enough points to use now her own buff. So we've used the Isis buff, the Diablo buff, and the Shuna buff. And now the Velzard buff, which is Drago, plus the 50% element buff, and Shuna does 2 million damage. So in 3 turns, we took minimal damage, we did the 1.4 million minimum overkill, And there we go. So there is the max score, 0. We only took technically 1 hit. 1.1 or 117.6 max turn bonus. This is the max score team that I have found. Whether that works for you, I don't know, but let's bring up some other teams that can maybe not get max score, but you can at least attempt to use. Alright, the next team is going to be a physical team, and while the mushroom has a lot of physical resistance, you can kind of get around that. It's better to use a magic team, but if you don't have a good magic fire character, then you can use TEMPEST Rimuru. We've brought New Year's Blessing Shion to give him guaranteed crit synergy. We've once again brought the old hero and Isis. Now we've brought TEMPEST Elite Benimaru, who can give us a physical buff and orb change turn 1. And then we brought Fire Shizu for the fire buff to help Rimuru do more damage. Alright, so turn 1, orb change with Benimaru. Boom, that gives us 6 blues, going to give us a lot of protection gauge next turn. We'll bring Rimuru in, we'll bring Shizu in. So we have 2 different fire characters who are going to be able to get the guaranteed crit, guaranteed synergy, and that's going to be pretty important on killing within the 3 turns. This is not a max score team. It's not a max like damage taken team. It's just a team you can use at this point. So here, 3 orbs for Rimuru. Not the greatest thing in the world, but it'll work. You're really looking for like 4 or 5 orbs for him, so if you really want to reset and do that, you can. But we're going to use the rewind, and then we're going to use the fire buff with Shizu because we can hold on to it. So now that the rewind is active, we'll use Shion. Guaranteed crit, guaranteed synergy means that this mushroom is very much dead. You want to send Rimuru orbs because that is the only damage that counts, is the type advantage. So first mushroom is dead. Second mushroom comes in. This is why you're looking for more orbs of Rimuru, because he's only at 1.5. You really want his EX ult if you're going to try and do the max damage, but we can't really do that, so we're just going to hold on to him now. So he's going to go away, and then we'll just kill this mushroom on turn 2.5. So we have to bring Benimaru in for Rimuru, is what we did. And then we use Shion, and we'll just stockpile some points here, and we'll be almost capped out. Yeah, we're 1 point off. But because Shizu has the fire buff and guaranteed crit, guaranteed synergy, we can safely kill the mushroom on this turn, which then means at turn 3, we have the final mushroom, and we have 179 points, which is enough. Enough to do what we need to do here. So, because we're already getting crit from Shion, we don't need the hero's buff at all. It would, sure it would help, but we have other buffs to use. So we'll use the physical buff, and then we'll bring Isis in, use her ult resistance down 120%, and then we'll use the Drago buff, we'll use the Rimuru buff, we'll use the 10% extra weakness strike buff from Rimuru, and then we'll also use the Shizu buff because we have points for it. It doesn't really affect him because we're not piercing and we're not AoE, but Rimuru does 1 million damage. So if he had his EX ult, he would have done over the damage cap, and he would have gotten that. You would have taken damage still, yeah, minus 107 points, but we were still on turn 3. We were just shy, just over 100,000 damage off from the max overkill. So if you can somehow manage to get the EX ult, or if you have the new masked hero who has the ult rush instead, probably work out better for you. You just have to fish for some Rimuru orbs. Alright, and the final team, going back to a magic fire nuker, the other fire Shuna, Idol Shuna, with Exalted Champion Velzard, bringing Exalted Champion Veldora and Rimuru, Visions of Coleus Violet for the magic buff and the turn 1 orb change, and then the new masked hero, so showing that we can use both of them, and they're both good for, doing almost the same thing, but slightly different ways. Obviously, Shuna has her synergy buff, Rimuru's attack buff, Violet has her magic buff, the hero has Pierce, and then Velzard has the element buff and the Drago effect. And we are also running the ult gauge on green charm. Very important if you're trying to get the EX ult for Shuna in this run. Alright, so turn 1, we can use Violet's orb change. Boom, takes care of that. We'll bring Shuna in for Veldora since he has a guaranteed orb incoming, and we're really looking for a lot of Shuna orbs next turn. Yes, the hero can ult rush at 30%, but it's only 30%. It's not 130. It's not even 100. It's 30. So you do need Shuna orbs, which thankfully gave us 4, which I think is exactly what we need. But this, again, is not a max turn. We got hit by Violet. We have no defensive abilities, so not a big deal. If you're just looking to do max damage and you don't care about the minus 200 points you're going to lose or something, not a big deal. But we'll use the Rewind, and then we will use Veldora's green buff. So this will enable us, alongside the Charm, to get the EX ult for Shuna, and then the Rewind next turn. So we have the EX ult, we have 150 skill points. Now we can use both the Pierce and the Synergy buff, and then send Shuna away. And because we'll have those buffs available, we can safely, reliably kill this mushroom this turn by using the Hero and Veldora orbs instead. But we want to build up back up to a lot of points so we can use the magic and the attack buff as well from Rimuru and Violet. So we'll bring this in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Veldora has all the buffs. So doesn't matter though because Rimuru kills. Because he has Pierce and he's got the element buff now. So that takes care of 2 mushrooms. We're now on turn 3. We have 158 points, which is enough to use the other buffs. So we'll bring Shuna in for Veldora, and then we'll bring in Violet for the Masked Hero. And now we just use these other buffs, and we nuke. And we have the EX ult. We're going to do good damage here. And technically we already have the buff from Violet, or not Violet, Velzard. Just do it again, whatever. It looks cool. We'll use, I think, 1 orb. Yeah. If you sent a Shuna orb, it would kill. So here, 1.8 million damage, still on turn 3. So max turn, max damage. Not max damage taken, but you lost 267 points. Like, ooh, sorry. But that's all I have time for normal battle 1. There are other fire, you can use like Fire Violet or Megamine if you have her. Fire units, if you have the new Momiji, like you can try. But if you used other teams in this fight, please put them down below so other people can see them. Please do me a favor. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.